Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We're just going to jump right into this week's meal prep. This first one is going to be a Crockpot chicken cordon bleu. It did come out a little bit higher points than I thought. I just didn't really compute it much in my head, but at least knowing ahead of time, I can work around that. The ingredients you're going to need, you're going to need some chicken breasts. Now the original recipe will be linked down below. I'm just doing 2 servings. You'll need some deli smoked ham or some kind of ham, some Swiss cheese. I'm using the ultra thin from Sargento, some sort of milk. I'm just using this oat milk. And then some stovetop stuffing, some cream of chicken soup. I'm using 98% fat free, and some light butter. And again, I will have the original recipe linked down below. I'm just doing, I think the original recipe is 4 servings. And like I said, I'm just doing 2 servings is what I'm doing. And of course, you'll need your crock pot. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to take your cream of chicken soup and your milk. So I'm just doing a 1/4 cup of that milk, and you're just going to whisk it all together. I actually don't even think you need the milk in this recipe. And I'm using the whole can. The original recipe calls for 2 cans, which I think even if I did 4 servings, I'd only do 1 can because there's a ton of sauce left over. So I ended up adjusting the points for the sauce because it was a lot. It was a lot of sauce once it started cooking, and I had a lot left in my crock pot. So I ended up saying I'm using a cup of this for the 2 servings is what I ended up saying. So again, I think even if I made 4 servings, I think I would still only use 1 can. I just think 2 cans is a lot. So you want to put a little bit in the bottom of your crock pot that you sprayed with some cooking spray, and then you're going to add in your chicken. So I'm just, and it does say in the recipe, it specifically says to make sure you do like single layers, that it works the best in this recipe. So if you are doing 4, and make sure you're using a bigger crock pot. I was using my other crock pot that's kind of oblong for a different recipe. But if I was making 4 servings of this, I would definitely use that one because it's like I said, it's like layers. So they do say to make sure it's like single. They try to do your chicken in single layers. So here's my chicken on top of that sauce. And then next up, we're going to add the deli ham. So you just want to put the ham on top of the chicken. And again, however many slices you want, whatever you want to put on top of there. I ended up adding 6 slices. This ham is like 4 slices for like 1 point. It's really low point because it's pretty lean ham. And I believe it's like 60 calories for 3 servings or something. So there's the ham. And again, you're putting this in layers, so you just want to cover up your chicken. And I realized afterwards I probably should have been more strategic about putting it on there because I did want to make sure I cut in between the chicken. So put 1 piece of chicken in each of my containers, but that's what I ended up doing. So then I'm going to add on this ultra thin sliced cheese, and I ended up adding 4 slices of the cheese on top. A serving of this cheese is actually 3 slices, but I just did 2 slices at each top. And then you want to put the rest of your cream of chicken mixture on top of this. I really like this cream of chicken soup. I know a lot of people don't like the canned soups. It has a bad name because of the sodium, but you guys, you can just control your sodium however you can. And then with the stovetop stuffing, I actually weighed out 2 ounces because I figured that would be plenty for just the 2 breasts that I'm doing. So I just weighed out 2 ounces on my scale, and I'll just use the leftover for something else and just kind of sprinkle that on top. And it said to make sure you get it nice put on there. Then I have a 1/4 cup of melted, I can't believe it's not butter, light, and I just kind of put that on top. And I think next time what I'm going to do, because really the whole point of the butter is to actually just moisten the stuffing, and I'm thinking you could just do like chicken broth and do the same thing. And so I kind of, as I was pouring the butter, I thought, oh, this would be a perfect time to just use like chicken broth. So I think next time I'll do that because if it's just moistening the thing, and I actually was able to press most of the stuffing down into the cream of chicken soup. So I really think the butter is not 100% necessary. It's just added calories and added points that you really probably don't need. And so you may think about that, leaving that out, and maybe just either try shoving it into the cream of chicken or maybe just using some chicken broth and putting that on top. And I would say just maybe 1/8 of a cup of chicken broth. And I think that would be plenty. But here this is, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on high and cook it for 4 hours on high. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. And I wanted to touch the stuffing to see if it was nice and soft, and it was. So again, I think we could do with what my suggestions were on that. And I just split it up into 2 meal prep containers, and this is what we got. And it just looks so good. And the stuffing is kind of just an added thing. I mean, I don't think there's usually stuffing on Cordon Bleu. I think it usually has a breading around the edge of it. But here's what we come up with: 8 points, 442 calories, a lot of protein. Looks like a yummy lunch. For breakfast, I prepped these ham and cheese quiches. Oh my gosh, you guys, so good. They took forever to cook. I always forget how long like thick egg dishes like this take to cook, but let's go ahead and show you what the ingredients are. Simple recipe. We're just going to use some eggs. We have some Good Culture cottage cheese, some onion, some diced ham, and some reduced fat sharp cheddar. Thank you to my friend Krista for telling me about this cheddar. This is like the best cheddar, and it melts so easily, and it is so good. Highly recommend this reduced fat sharp cheddar. What we're going to do, and then the cottage cheese. So we're going to blend this up. So if you're somebody who does not like cottage cheese, and maybe because of the texture of it, we're going to blend it up. So, and it just adds a nice creaminess to a quiche. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the eggs in my blender bottle here. I did 7 eggs is what I ended up doing with 7 eggs. It's for 3 containers is what I'm going to do, 3 servings for this. So you just want to go ahead and just break your eggs up into your, whatever you're using, your blender. This is like my small blender cup here. So go ahead and just put it in whatever you're going to put it in, and then we're going to blend it up when we get everything in there. And next up, we're going to add in the cottage cheese. Now, normally for recipes that I'm cooking, I'll use fat-free cottage cheese, but I didn't have any, and this was kind of like a last-minute thing that I decided to make, and I forgot to add the cottage cheese to my grocery cart. I really had such a scattered brain when I was doing my grocery list this weekend. And then we're going to add in some salt and pepper to this. Of course, add any other kind of seasoning you want. At the last minute, I decided to add in the Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse because I forgot how much I loved this stuff on eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some of that. And then we're just going to blend it up in the blender. So you want to blend it up till it's nice and smooth. Now, if you don't mind the texture of cottage cheese, you can just whisk this as well. But it is kind of hard to whisk the eggs with the cottage cheese. So I don't mind doing it this way. Now, you're all going to say, what are you doing? You do this every time you make a quiche. I know, y'all. I know. I always add in all the ingredients together. And actually, as I would put them, I got everything in there. This is the diced ham I'm using. Love this ham for salads, for egg scrambles, so many things. And then I added in the onion. As I did this and started up, I realized I should have just put it in the containers first. I'm adding in 3/4 of a cup of this reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese. So basically 3 servings is what I'm adding for this. And then I mixed it up and I realized this is where I should just put it into the containers, put the ham, the cheese, the onion in the containers, and pour the egg mixture on top. That's how you should do it, you guys. Don't follow my example here. I know I say this every time. I just forget. Make sure you spray your dishes really well with cooking spray because they will stick because it's eggs. And then what I ended up doing, and I didn't do this on camera because I kind of made a mess, but what I ended up doing is taking my big ladle that I have so I could scoop out some of the, the ham and the cheese and the onions out of the bowl before I started pouring it in. But you guys, the way to do it is to take a serving of your ham, put it in each of your containers, a serving of your cheese, and a serving in your onion, and then just pour the egg mixture on top. That way you get an even amount because I knew this one right here that I'm messing with right now did not have a lot of the ham mixture, so I went ahead and added some in there, and it was a mess. It was stupid. I don't know why I did that, but like I said, don't follow my example. Do it the way that I told you guys to do it because it'll be much better. This is going to go into a 375-degree oven. Now, the original recipe called for 25 minutes, but that was for a kind of a different size quiche. These ended up taking 45 minutes. So again, just watch them. I did like 20 minutes. Then I did add another 10 until I ended up with 45 minutes is what they ended up with. And there's the finished product. And these look absolutely amazing. So good. Cannot wait to have these for breakfast. And of course, these are pretty low points. They'd even be lower points if you did the fat-free cottage cheese. So if you want these to be really low points, go ahead and do the fat-free cottage cheese. But I usually spend about 5 points for breakfast anyway. So this came out to be about the amount of points that I always use for breakfast anyway. And then the final thing is just going to make up some taco meat. Now, I planned on doing a cilantro lime chicken, ground chicken salad. And honestly, like, I was like not even having it. Sunday was actually my birthday, and I kind of just wanted to have a day to relax. So I just decided just to make up a big batch of taco meat. So we have some lean ground chicken here. I actually have this Taco Bell chicken taco seasoning mix that kind of inspired this because I had that in my pantry and trying to use up things in my pantry. So I decided to do that. I had a can of red kidney beans in my pantry. I had a can of rotel tomatoes in my pantry, and I had a half a bag of corn from a recipe from last week. So really just using up stuff with a thing of ground chicken. So we're just going to cook all this up. This can be used for so many things, taco salads. I have some wraps. I could make just a burrito out of it. I have some hard taco shells. I could do some hard tacos. I could do a taco bowl. I could do with add some cottage cheese to this and do like a dip to have with my Quest chips. So many things that you could use this for. So just having a batch of this in my refrigerator, I can have it for lunches, for dinners, anything I want. So if there's a night I don't feel like making one of my dinners, I can just make myself like a taco bowl. So I always like to have something like this in my fridge for the weeks that I just feel like are going to be a little interesting. You know, you kind of can tell when you're just not sure how the week is going to go. That's kind of how I'm feeling about this upcoming week. There are a lot of things going on right now. And so I just feel like I need to have something quick and easy to grab out of the refrigerator. So just adding in the taco seasoning, adding in the rotel tomatoes. Again, this is so versatile. I actually thought I had a can of black beans in my cabinet, but I didn't. But I had those red kidney beans. So went with that, just something different. The rotel, I think this is finally my last can of rotel tomatoes. I had like 4 in there, so it's kind of nice to have those done. And I did drain and rinse the red kidney beans here. And like I said, we're just going to go ahead and mix this up and it will be ready to go. One thing that I thought about adding was a thing of ranch seasoning mix because it does add a little bit of flavor, but I forgot until actually I was all done. And then again, adding in this corn. This was a half a bag of corn I had left from a previous recipe. So it sat in my freezer and I thought, you know what? Here's how I can use up the rest of that corn. And again, just adding in some healthy carbs in there and we are ready to go. So here is my taco meat. You could use the 99% fat-free chicken or turkey, and this would be a lot less points. The points is really only for the chicken in this. And that is everything, you guys. Thank you so much, as always, for taking time out of your day to watch my video. I will have that chicken cordon bleu recipe linked down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.